again, this is Andrea from Mixed Adventures Together. Today I wanted to do a short video about what grief took from me. Again, this is my little 45-year-old glow up journey, and not about changing who I am, but rediscovering who I was, claiming her again, and trying to get back to where I used to be. So if you're in that same season of life, trying to remind yourself where you are, who you are, please stay with me. Help me create a community that's going to help us stay strong together. So first I want to start off by saying, I know my video, not aesthetically pleasing. I'm literally in bed because sometimes that's where I'm most comfortable, and that's where I'm comfortable talking about what I'm going through. I have my emotional support puppy laying down beside me, the fan's going, and I'm just relaxed. But it's in this position, this place, where I'm most comfortable, most willing to be vulnerable with you. And so I hope that you're comfortable. I hope that you're in your cozy place. So that we can have an honest, open, talk about what's going on in life. This is going to be about a tough subject. It's about grief. And grief is something that everybody goes through. We all lose someone special to us. We all have to learn how to move on after losing someone. Or maybe you're grieving the person you used to be. And maybe you're grieving the loss of who someone else used to be. But one thing that I wanted to talk about was my experience with grief and how you, of course, are going to be sad, right? Everyone, that's the whole point of grief, is you've lost something, it makes you sad. But no one really talks about what grief does, like, to your body. And not just to your heart, right? Of course, our hearts are broken, but there's a change to the body. There's change to motivation. There's a change to sleep. And there's a change to your self of sense. So I just want to kind of address each of those things, and share how grief affected me in those areas. My experience with grief is that everything became heavier. Everything became harder. Food, of course, became a comfort because it was what I could do. I started baking more, which would make me eat more. I started cooking more, which would make me eat more. And in the 3 years between when my mother passed away and now, I probably gained 30 pounds. And I'm already a plus size woman. Always have been a plus size woman. But I probably gained 30 pounds just because I was so disconnected from my body. So one of my goals for my glow up is to kind of lose some of that weight, which I have already. I did lose about 25 pounds. I'm doing it very slowly. Again, this journey is not a weight loss challenge. It's not any of that. It's just trying to reclaim who I was. And so part of that was learning this body, because I forgot what it was, how to use it, what it brought me, what joy it brought me, what made it feel good. I felt so many physical pains that I do believe was directly related to grief. I felt like my knees would hurt, my muscles would ache, and never mind add on the fact that, I'm in my 40s. Things start hurting. You wake up in the morning and you think, is this a new pain? Is it a temporary pain? Or is this now my new way of being with this pain? That definitely is part of it. Is yes, I'm getting older, but I think that I was disconnected from my body and I wasn't taking care of it. Now I think in this next phase, I want to learn how to take care of the body that I have now. I'm not going to mourn the body that I used to have. I'm not going to think about, oh, when I was, 10 years ago, I was doing my thing. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. This is the body I have now. This is the body I have to take care of. This is the body I need to learn how to take care of. As I'm processing my grief. But I definitely would say that's one thing that I don't think anyone ever told me was, goodness gracious, when you go through that grieving process, you just don't care about the physical. I did not care about the physical at all. And I'm definitely feeling the consequences of that. The other thing is movement felt impossible. I was lucky enough that I do have dogs. I love my dogs. And so I would walk them every day, but I would take them short distances. Movement, I would come home from work and then I would sit on the couch and I would just stare off into space and be numb. And besides taking the dog for, that 10-minute walk, I just couldn't get the motivation to move. My husband said, I'm an introvert. He's an introvert. He's a homebody. I'm not a homebody. I'm an introvert, but I'm not a homebody. I like to do things and see things and watch things. I don't like to be a part of it, but I want to watch it happening. And he definitely, when we were discussing my grief, was, well, now you're a homebody. And my homebodiness, is that how it can go? My homebodiness took the part of reading books. I went through so many fiction novels in the past 3 years that was unreal because I could disconnect. I could escape. I didn't have to deal with the grief. I didn't have to deal with anything. I didn't have to deal with people. So I would just read a book. We had newly adopted our kids, and I would show up for them, but I wasn't interested in participating in anything that required movement. We had our family board nights. We would play different games as a family. We had movie nights. But if it was like, let's go to the park and play, let's go outside and play, I'd be like, you know what? You guys go. I'm going to stay here. I'll cook. I'll make lunch for us when you guys get back. I'll make a cake for us. But as far as moving my body, I could not get the motivation to get up and go. Motivation felt impossible, but I also didn't recognize who I was in the mirror. I wasn't enjoying life. I wasn't enjoying being who I truly was. I wasn't looking for the adventure. And that was one thing that in my wedding vows to my husband, I said, I promise to always go on an adventure with you. And grief stopped me from going on adventures. That really hurt. That's when I realized grief took my spirit away. That one was hard. But today, I'm not going to be focused on what grief took away from me anymore. I'm going to focus on what I am taking back from grief slowly. I'm going to take back my strength. I'm going to take back my curiosity. I'm going to take back my joy. And I want to take back my sense of adventure. Because life is an adventure that we all deserve to enjoy. This glow up isn't about erasing the pain. That pain will never go away. but it's about carrying it a little differently so that life doesn't feel so heavy. That saying that out loud really felt amazing. Like I'm claiming my life again. Oh my gosh. If you've lost someone and feel changed, comment, me too. Again, you're not alone. I'm not alone. Let's create this community together. I'll see you next time.